Hello and welcome to another video from thefanpub.com.
Well, we've done a lot of player profile videos, but I believe you've chosen something different for this one, Al.
Yeah, I mean, these are sort of three quarterbacks where the jury's out to say the least, and make or break seasons for their teams and for their own careers,
excellent.
really.
Yeah, so that'll be really good because I can imagine where this is heading, so this is going to be good. So could you name those three quarterbacks?
Yeah,
This is
so
the
we
make
got-
or break seasons.
This is QB 11 overall, Jameis Winston.
Yep.
And then you've got Derek Carr, who's going at quite a lot lower, actually, at QB 25.
Very underrated for this season. Very interesting.
And then you've got Marcus Mariota at QB 27. Can you give me your thoughts on, is there value anywhere in any of them?
I think
Do you believe in any of those?
I think particularly for Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, I think both those guys, this is definitively the last year. I think Derek Carr gets a little bit more time, and I'll explain why in a moment. But I think these two is their definitive last season. Jameis was almost put on probation, one could argue, last year. Was given a warning, a rocket that better improve, and he kind of did a little bit. But it won't take a lot for the coaching staff to lose faith with him. I think you're pretty much seeing the writings on the wall. I think Marcus Mariota is about to face exactly the same situation. Look, the truth is, both of these have got woefully difficult situations ahead of them for different reasons. Tennessee have got to form an identity as a team, and it's probably going to have to come through run first. Probably through obviously our friend, your player that you kind of picked out, Derek Henry, DH. We talked about it on the video. Please have a look at that video, see what you think of it.
Or Dion Lewis.
So
change your pace, mate.
They don't ever seem to put up scoring numbers that sort of frighten teams, which is my problem with them. They've got quite a tricky schedule ahead of Tennessee. That worries me. Mariota's accuracy issues are there to be seen. He does seem to be...
He does get some value from his rushing. I mean, he is a guy that can pick up your fantasy points rushing.
He can. I mean, if we look... Let's start with Marcus Mariota. Let's give some data. So could you start with him, if that's okay? If you could bring him up for last year so we can have an honest reflection of the stats. That would be very useful. And while you're just doing that, thanks, Al, I'll just bring Jameis Winston into this because, as I say, last year he was benched for a period of time with our old friend Ryan Fitzpatrick. So he was clearly put under probation. So if we look at Marcus Mariota first, what was his overall stats in terms of rushing, passing?
2,500 yards passing.
Yep.
11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
I mean
that's poor.
And that's a whole season, isn't it? Effectively.
Yeah, I think he missed week 2.
Right.
He was banged up, in fairness to him.
But 2,500 yards in the modern NFL with those kind of touchdown numbers. Yeah. Whether there are injuries in the team or not.
He had 2 games over 300 yards.
You see,
one of them was 303.
Elite quarterbacks make players around them become good at the least, if not better than they really are. He hasn't managed to achieve that. So then the question is, what is he? And I would say he is just a trigger man. He is potentially going to become a bench warmer. I think his days in Tennessee are now numbered. He's being
Well, I can tell you, I'm not drafting him any.
I wouldn't even draft him as a second quarterback. That's how little I rate him for this season. I've just seen a decline over the last 2 years that really frightens me.
3-4-4 was his top game. Only 2 games over 300 yards.
Not good enough in the modern NFL. Just not good enough.
11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
And his rushing yards?
Rushing yards, like I say, 357.
It's okay.
And 2 touchdowns.
Serviceable for a quarterback. That's serviceable numbers, but it's not exciting. No, his time is numbered. This is it. As you highlight correctly, it's make or break. So for me, very simply, I believe break. I think.
Well, they've got Tannehill as well. Do you believe in him?
No, obviously not. No, but it could be that he gets games because Mariota could also be put on warning. He might get benched for a period of time, or even half the season.
And we've got sort of 2 or 3 nice quarterbacks coming into.
If they start slowly, they're going to start. The fans are going to start. Particularly if the running game's going okay, they're going to turn on him, and he will quickly get benched. He will have problems coming, particularly if they start slowly and it's not the running game.
And then they'll have Tannehill.
And then it will be even more problematic. But that's another story.
Do you think the better quarterback out of them two? Because you played quarterback. Tannehill and Mariota, or would you not like either of them?
I feel a bit sorry for Mariota because I think there's a talented player in there which has been overcoached to a degree. There's been too much coaching, too many changes, too many things going on, and there are sometimes when you look at quarterbacks, one of the things is, and this is probably using the current situation with Brett Favre, when you have a quarterback that has tremendous experience, has elite skills, reads defenses like Rodgers does. you don't really need to coach them, right? You just, it's pointless.
No.
You actually go to them and you say, right, I want to run this offense, this style of offense. Tell me what will help you
achieve
what you want. What else? When you get back to the Super Bowl, how do we do that? What do I need from you? You don't tell him what you're going to do. You ask him what we should do, because that's how good he is. Now with this guy, he's been overly coached. He doesn't really know anymore what he's good at. He doesn't really know what he should do anymore. And I see a man that's mechanics have broken down a bit. I've seen some rushed passes. I've seen passes that are wayward. I mean, like woefully wayward. Anytime you can't catch in the catch radius, which effectively is where someone can, a catch radius technically is anywhere inside that kind of zone, inside the numbers. That's the catch radius that the NFL quarterback should be throwing in. For an average QB, it should be anywhere inside arm's reach is okay, serviceable just. But you want it in the catch radius, you want it in the breadbasket. They're woefully off target a lot of times, putting his players in bad situations, making them have a 50-50 medicine ball and literally getting them hurt is not going to endamour yourself well to your players when when it's not even required. It's not like the game's on the line and you're risking that. That's huge to me. And I really saw a lot of that. And a lot of Corey Davis's issues are down to coaching, and quarterback play, because as much as I don't like his situation.
QB numbers, does he?
He doesn't. So it's not all down to him. And there could be, in Corey Davis, there could be a great player that's there, but we won't know until he's moved. That's just the reality of what we're dealing with Corey Davis. In fact, I'd rather take a punt on Corey Davis.
It might not be him moving. It might. I mean, if they did badly and they took like a tour next year, I mean, Corey Davis, you'd fancy him a lot more.
Well, if they upgrade
his career could really.
If they upgrade at quarterback next season, there are some guys coming in, and then Mariota's on the. He's gone. I mean, the fans will quickly turn when you have had some bad seasons, and these guys haven't performed when they've had opportunity. And last year they had some. You could argue the schedule wasn't too bad, and they woefully underperformed on it. And I'm just disappointed every time I see them play. I hate watching them play, and I think I'm not a fan. And I'm not saying that because I hate Tennessee.
They're another team that grinds the ball.
I'm saying that from the point of view, there's nothing that excites me there, because the other guy is, DH is woefully poor at running back because he just doesn't do it consistently. If he did it consistently, I might watch him, but they don't even have that to fall back on.
But is he a victim of poor quarterback play?
Possibly, because handoffs, bad coordination of footwork. Not getting the right play called in. There's a few reasons why the running back could struggle.
There's a quarterback that runs as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't I have this thing, and again, this is just for those that have seen this coaching. There's a thing, I call it the shotgun snap, which is where you are able to throw the ball between the hands when you're going to hand it off. So you're able to flick it back like a shotgun flick back into the other hand. So it looks like you've handed it off, but you've actually got it. He's got none of this moxie about his game, none. He telegraphs a lot, and he's very open. He's got no body skills, no role play skills, no ability to sell anything. You just know what's coming. The defense is just sitting back there going, it's pass, it's run. They know. He can't do it. He can't even call an audible. I mean, I'm really worried. And I'm not saying that's because he's always been bad. He was a very good quarterback coming in. I think it's worn him down, and I think we're at a point of break. So him, finished. Let's talk about
James. Yeah, not for you. James Winston.
Let's bring him up. Let's bring his stats up.
I mean, he's QB 11.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope that it would be reflective on the stats produced. And obviously he had...
well, why is he QB 11, first of all?
Well, I think we have to look at the stats. That's the first thing. We always start with the numbers. I mean, he has produced in the past. He's probably quarterback 11 by ADP, because this is... ADP does not reflect real-life ability. It's just based on fantasy numbers.
And he missed 5 old games, so
because he was pretty much
benched. And some other games he came in late.
I mean, if we just examine...
But he did 2,992 yards, so that's pretty good.
So compared to Marcus Mariota, played pretty much the full season bar a game.
But again, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. His decision-making sometimes...
he did look better. He looked a bit better when he came back from the sort of mini-suspension. I think Jameis has the potential to keep his job, right?
Oh, he does, definitely.
He has the potential to keep his job. He has thrown for 4,000 yards a couple of years in a row. He has drifted away from that recently. But he showed even on a reduced season, he got 2,900. So he's more than capable of getting 4,000. What he needs to do is cut down the mental errors. And then what we have...
But how many years can you keep saying you've got to make better decisions?
This is why he's on the make or break right now from your list. Because if he doesn't... So a good example again will be he starts the year off. Let's say it's a really bad start, 6 touchdowns, 7, 8 interceptions. I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched. And that's it. Career finished.
I mean, he had 5 over 300 where Mariota had 2.
Yeah,
and he played less games.
He's more than capable, right? He's more than capable. They've got a fabulous wide receiver. If they can get a little bit of consistency at running back and they can take some pressure off him, then I could see him keeping his job. And he is a serviceable QB2 where Marcus Mariota isn't. What I don't want to happen in any league format is I'm relying on this guy this year to be my number 1. That's a mistake.
Do you know how many, in the first 4 games of last year, how many interceptions he threw in them 4 games, do you reckon?
In the first 4?
Yeah,
that
he started, yeah.
In the first 4?
How many interceptions do you reckon?
5?
No.
Well,
he actually threw 10 interceptions in 4 games.
He still kept his job even though
he lost it. He lost it for 3 games.
Yeah, not
games.
surprising.
But he did cut down on the errors. He in the last 7, he only threw 4.
Yeah.
After throwing 10 in his first 4. So
there is improvement. I mean, but that's what he's going to have to show this year. He's going to have to show that because you can clearly see he wasn't benched for no reason, so he is on borrowed time. But this year is a chance to reclaim the job and keep it. But I would say he probably can keep it. Actually, I think he can. But this will depend on the start. If the start's poor, he's gone. If he starts okay, and a 2-2 record is fine, he'll be fine for the season. He'll be okay. He'll be given time.
It's 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
Yeah, it's the no, not in any modern NFL. No. And with the way that trigger men are, that he is literally on borrowed time. But I think he could keep his job. It's, if you wanted to be honest, it's a maybe keeps his job.
So in the last sort of 7 games or so, he got 15 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. So that's more like it.
Yeah.
So you can see maybe why he's QB11 because he did finish strongly.
He did, yeah. But you don't want to risk your draft on
He's
this.
lost to Sean Jackson, but he did lose OJ Howard partly through the season.
Yeah, I think if I'm honest, I don't want him as my QB1. I don't mind him as a second QB, just in case my main guy goes down for a week.
So that's not likely.
But I'm not taking him at QB11 personally. I'd take someone else. I think there are other players that give him the
other
opportunity.
QBs
and this one does. The one we're about to mention does.
The other QBs around him.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. Would you rather Jared Goff?
Yeah, because Rams are a high-octane offense, and Jared Goff had over 4,200 passing yards last year. So yes, I would.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Of course. Yes.
So why is he?
Well,
it's not worth the value.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger threw over 5,000 yards last year.
But he always does.
But that's what he does. He's able to put the deep ball up. He's
what will he do without Antonio?
You'll find a way with Juju Smith-Schuster. I've got no doubt he'll still. But it won't be, if there are issues in the team, it won't be down to the fact Ben isn't chucking the ball around. I mean, that's one thing we can definitely say. Ben's brave as hell, and he will give your team a chance to win. So I don't. He's such a seasoned veteran. He's another guy who reads the defenses really well. If they make mistakes, he pounces. He's good. So I can't argue with him. And he finished right up there last year, Ben. So, can't argue with that. However.
All right, QB 25.
Derek Carr, that's woefully undervalued. I mean, he had 4,000 yards last year.
Yeah.
The big issue, the reason he's down there, of course, is touchdowns over interceptions. It's exactly the same problem.
I think why he's down there is the first 3 letters next to his name, OAK.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And it's because
maybe the Raiders could take a step forward, but they're almost a bit of a laughing stock. I mean,
but the guy, look,
last year.
Yeah, well, let's look at the numbers, right? So he had 4,000 yards. Passing, okay, so that's a positive.
But 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yeah, it's the interceptions are the worry. Again, low numbers of touchdowns.
To be fair to him, he had 8 of those in his first 5 games,
and that tells you a lot about how he improved after that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he is a bit undervalued.
In fact, he went 3, 6, 9, 10 games without throwing an interception before throwing 2 against Kansas City.
And you could argue that's okay because it's Kansas City with one of the best defenses in the league. Look, my opinion on Derek Carr is he's woefully undervalued. And if I had to pick one of these 3, he would be the guy I'd target this year.
Well, at ADP.
At his ADP, and I would pick him ahead of those 2 guys.
I mean, Antonio Brown, Terrell Williams.
There's a lot to like. I mean. There's a lot you could say about Oakland, but one thing's for sure, Derek Carr is not on borrowed time. This is still a guy who has a bit more time left.
I mean, a lot of people expected Oakland to draft the quarterback, didn't they, this year? And Gruden, to be fair, said, Derek Carr's my man. And nobody believed him, but he turned out to be true.
He's young enough.
True to his word.
He's young enough. He's got some moxie to his game. There are things that worry you, but...
Again, it's his decision sometimes.
There is obviously coaching changes made a difference when the coach has sat down with him and had a chat, or maybe the quarterback coach has had a chat with him. Whatever's happened behind. Adjustments have been made, and that's made a big difference to his game. If he carries those on into this year, and it will every year, the quarterback will need to be sat down and they'll have to work on what is the defence likely to do this year to adjust to my style of play. What will they do, and how do you counter that?
Well, he had 51 sacks against him, so that's pretty tough.
It's very difficult. You know, I mean, that's
so that O-line's got to
that level is unsustainable for a quarterback. 51 sacks is just unsustainable.
Still not as many as Deshaun Watson. He was the most sacked QB.
Yeah, well, hopefully their improvements on the O-line will pay dividends for him this year, I think. But I'm a buyer of Derek Carr. His ADP is good.
He had 7 fumbles as well for Derek Carr. So it's in those areas.
It's the mental areas, but you could put that down to the running game. If you look at those fumbles in total, I mean, in fairness, 4 of them are caused by handover snaps. So I look to them and a bit more careful, and it'd be really difficult to argue that 2 of the 4 are down to the running back mistake, and therefore that's really shouldn't be as high as that.
Not the Muslims, surely.
I don't think it was him, but I mean there are issues there, but I can't blame him for that. But I will say,
the one I remember is he was scrambling and he was running for the touchdown in the corner. He reached out his hand.
Yeah, when you're extending,
and he actually dropped the ball and
yeah.
He went out the end zone for a touchback, and it cost him the game. And
that's
quite a high profile mistake.
It's a big one, but he, this is a guy that I think easily keeps his job this year. He will improve with what they've done around him, and there's a lot to like. I could see him sneaking 4,500 yards. The issue is still the touchdown numbers, but I could see that going up to about 25.
Antonio Brown's got it.
I think 25, 26 is realistic. He could close in on 4.5.
I mean,
he is capable.
To be fair, I mean, they had Amari Cooper. He started poorly. A change of scenery did him well.
And it certainly did.
Yeah, Martavis Bryant. I mean, you can't trust him.
And by spraying the ball around, it certainly helped Derek Carr get out of some of the woeful starts.
They had loads of different wide receivers, didn't they? Yeah. Jared Cook was probably only his only sort of permanent fixture in that offense last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that makes life difficult. So much turnover. I mean, Gruden was sacking a player a week.
Yeah, he was. I mean, Gruden is a ruthless individual.
Old school.
Very old school. But the one thing we do know that's coming is he will run this like an old school offense. So I do think this will help Derek Carr improve this year. So I'm a bit more.
Wouldn't an old school offense be more run orientated though?
Well, I think what happens is if you, like these 3 quarterbacks we've mentioned, one thing that you need to do as a coach is these guys absolutely have to have coaching. I mean, that's the first thing. It's not like I've got a seasoned veteran there and I don't need to say much to him. I still need to keep his spirits up and I need to know where my seasoned veteran's head is. But if I do the right job and I kind of say, bring him into every meeting and say, look, and I would probably be this, if I was dealing with Aaron Rodgers, I would actually, if I was the head coach, I'd sit him to sit down next to me in every single meeting I have and say, this is my offensive coordinator on the field. This is the guy I turn to when I need a play being made.
What if the offensive coordinator sat the other side going, hello?
This is in the
Hello,
field.
Sean.
This is in the field. That's behind the scenes.
What if they don't agree though? Which are they?
I'm going with the guy on the field. He's playing the game.
Anyway, we don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers.
But that's the point, right? So where I'm going with this with these guys is simply this. They do need coaching, but what you have to do, which is what
Gruden's still calling the plays.
This is what. Well, this is good. Well, this is good in some ways for the quarterback because look, let's be honest. Take the decision making, bring it down to a simple level, and rebuild back up the confidence levels for these guys. Derek Carr improved.
He's now got Antonio Brown, who's famous for getting open. He does get open, and that's going to help a lot.
Massive. Yeah, it's going
to. You got Terrell Williams.
You got a running back. I think you got a running back at least at this early stage in the season. Let's just say this: at least a rookie is going to make a difference at running back. It should make a difference, and it should help. Take some of the pressure off.
And if not, you've got like Doug Martin for 1-2 punch. You've got Jalen Richard catching balls out of the backfield, haven't you?
There's a lot
DeAndre Washington still knocking about.
I think Josh Jacob can catch it too. So I mean, we'll see how good the young kid is. There's a lot to like. It'll be coached old school. It'll be brought down to basics. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good for Derek Carr's development. Start again and build back up from there. Give him a bit of ownership as the season falls along if you do well. If he does well, give him a couple of audibles. Say, listen, if this happens, you make the call. Bring the confidence up. But at the moment, with the other ones, with him at the moment, just keep it simple because there's no denying it. The more overly complicated the offense is, the more these struggles are going to continue, and the more likely they are going to get benched. And that's the trouble. They've got they've got that axe hanging over them all.
When you got somebody like Antonio Brown who can get open and take the pressure off a bit, he might be less inclined to make these stupid errors where he's trying to force something or make something happen.
And often, this is a difficult thing as a quarterback because one of the things that you're often asked to do is look, it's easy when you're winning because all you got to do is hand the ball off or make a simple throw. That's that's the nice part of the game when you've just got to your line's holding up and you can make all the throws. Everybody, you can all look great back there. So once it's not and you're 2 scores or 3 scores back and it's late in the game, everybody looks to you to turn that round. All the focus is on you. Everybody knows that.
Poor decisions
right?
sometimes.
You make a bad decision, it's game over. It finishes right there. So one thing I learned as a quarterback is you must get into. And it's a really hard thing to talk about actually. You have to find your own zone, right? So know yourself. So when you get to a critical point of the game, can you switch off the score in your head and say this is one play at a time? Do what all the coach speak tells you, which is one play at a time. Get the score. We move on from there. Don't let that rule you, but at the same time, be aware of it. You've got to be aware of it, and you've got to find your head. You've got to find your space and do things that are going to frustrate the defense. So I like little things where psychologically, you got an Antonio Brown, couple of quick pump fakes straight out there, pump it out to him two times in a row, give him a look, sell it, go to Terrell Williams the opposite side. Just it's whatever it takes to make the game as easy as possible. Get everybody biting on the simple. Then you can overcomplicate it. But they will need coaching, all 3 do. I think Gruden is actually a good fit for this guy. I think for Derek Carr, it's a good fit. So I do see he had 4,000 yards. He can improve. He's got better weapons around him. Not too much to like. It really is him. He's my favourite. Jameis is kind of could be okay, but we'll see.
Yeah, but QB 11
could be, but I'm not buying at that price. And then Marcus Mariota, well, we could see the end here.
I think we've already seen the end.
I think we will see the end.
What do you think? Is there any of those you like? Has Mariota got any chance of coming back? And we'd love to hear if you think that. Is Carr able to step up with Antonio Brown and Terrell Williams? If
you've owned Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota over the last couple of seasons, you'll understand the physical pain that both these quarterbacks have brought to your fantasy team.
I mean, QB 11, why? Why? Winston, why?
Why? Tell us. We'd like to know. Would you buy them? That's what Al's saying. Would you buy them?
I think we're not.
I don't mind any of them. Well, I don't mind Derek Carr as a second.
You do mind any of them? You don't want Mariota?
Yeah, I don't want Mariota even coming a bye week, frankly. I don't even think he could throw to a bye week.
I don't even want to look at him on the ADP list. I might cross him out before I start with drafting.
That's often what I do. I just eliminate them from the possibility of drafting.
These players you really don't want.
Yeah. Anyway, there you are.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you enjoyed this series, subscribe as usual.
Yeah, and if you're Derek Carr, please email me the money as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and send us lots of money for talking you up.
Yeah,
All
hope
right,
it works out for you.
Thanks very much for watching.